Yo, what is going on, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to a brand new locals feature match. Here we are in round 2 for the week, and we got a pretty interesting matchup here. We got Beetroopers on the left, piloted by my good friend Partho, and on the right, my good friend Jovu playing Phantom Knights. You guys are used to seeing him play Prank Kids, but he's been switching it up as of late, so let's see how this one goes. And let's also look at the poll results. I asked you guys who you thought would win this round, and a overwhelming majority of the votes going to Phantom Knight here. Kind of similar to how the results were in the previous round. Kind of a landslide vote in the favor of Invoke Shadal. But we ended up seeing Live Twin taking that match 2-0 in kind of an upset. So let's see if we see the same thing here. We're going to see Rhoda, and then we're going to see Tour Guide, followed up by Kagamucha Knight. Pretty strong opening here to go ahead and summon out that graph from the deck to go into the Cherubini. This is going to free up his Cherubini in terms of what he can send. Can basically dump an additional PK named to the grave here, since the graph is going to go ahead and be able to get access to the Seer very, very early on. So very, very high ceiling opening here. And I assume he is going to go ahead and summon out the Seer from the deck. Or, okay, he's got the Seer in hand. I was going to say, I was like, is there no Seer in his deck? I got very worried for a second. But wait a second. We're not going to see him use Cherubini. Hold the phone. No Cherubini? Oh my. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, cut my man some slack. He is new to the Phantom Knight strategy, okay? He's still learning. He's only been playing it for, I want to say, like, maybe a couple weeks at that. He's been playing Prank Kids for a long time, and he's just switching over to a couple different decks. So please take it easy in the comments. But either way, we're going to see him continue on here, get into Rusty, dumping the Torn Scale, setting Fogblade. We're going to see him spec out Boots. And, yeah, going to go ahead and probably go, I mean, like something you could do here, you could go for something like Dante, detach, mill 1 or 2, kind of a conservative mill, try to get, more extenders in the graveyard here. But we're going to see him go ahead and make Anaconda. So, yeah, I mean, with the Dante route, you could have detached the Boots, milled a couple, and then use Boots effect, summon out the Torn Scale, search Fogblade, Torn Scale effect, pitch Fogblade if you hadn't used it already, which I don't think he has. But we're just going to see him go straight to Anaconda and activate the effect to go ahead and dump the Fusion Destiny alongside Dasher and Celestial to go ahead and summon out the DPE. And we're going to see him now use the Boots here in... and sort of a follow-up to the Anaconda play to go ahead and grab the another copy of Fogblade. So we're going to see double Fogblade here with DPE and the Celestial follow-up for next turn. Definitely could have been played a lot better. Yeah, so for any new Phantom Knight players or returning Phantom Knight players that haven't played the deck in a long time, yeah, always make sure you use your Cherubini, even if you already have both your Bs out of the deck, because Cherubini can send any level 3 monster. Keep that in mind. It does not have to be a Burning Abyss. It just has to target a Burning Abyss monster and make it gain attack equal to the attack of the level 3 monster you sent. But yeah, still, I mean, it might be an okay enough end board for Beetrooper. We will see. We're going to see him lead with Scout Buggy, which is going to go ahead and spec out another copy of Scout Buggy. I think I see a copy of Forbidden Droplet in our Beetrooper player's hands here. That could come in very, very clutch in outing the DPE, which, I mean, is like realistically the only thing he has to worry about playing through at this point in time. He does have like mild follow-up in grave. He has Celestial, obviously, and he does have a Torn Scales, but I don't think much else in terms of PK names. We're going to see him link into the Armor Horn. We're going to see him activate Armor Horn's effect to gain additional normal. He's going to Fogblade. We're going to see him chain Droplet, sending off the Armor Horn, make it so it cannot be negated by the Fogblade here. And he's going to go ahead and hit the DPE with the Droplet, I assume. And we're going to see him use that additional normal summon on Sting the Poison. That's going to go ahead and add Pin the Bullseye. It'll spec out Pin the Bullseye, and that is going to burn him for an additional 200 points of damage. Then we're going to see him banish the Scout Buggies from the grave. Just go ahead and summon one of the newer pieces of Beetrooper support, and that is the Assault Roller. Consider it like an Aqua Spirit or Gigantes, but for like insect monsters. Pretty decent card, and I believe it gains attack for all other 200 attack for each insect monster you control other than that card. And I think when it's destroyed by battle, you can like add a Beetrooper or something. Pretty solid effect. So we're going to see him link into the Insector Link. We're going to see him pitch Killer Needle the bricky sort of engine requirement for the Goki pull stuff. But he's going to go ahead and be able to attempt to equip the Assault Roller with a what would have been a Resonance Insect from the deck. We're going to see the second Fog Blade get burned here. And then we're going to see him use the Armor Horn Engrave, banishing 3 to go ahead and spec itself out. And then linking off the Inzektor Link and the Armor Horn into a copy of Invincible Atlas. And we're probably going to, I was going to say, there's no reason you don't just, like, use Atlas to pitch off the Assault Roller and not himself, because you can't do that. But I think it's better to leave the 3K untargetable, indestructible body on the field. Just checking the graveyard right now, see how much follow-up he has. Just Fogblade, just Torn Scales, and of course Celestial Dasher. And that Celestial is very, very good follow-up. We're going to see Battle Phase, he'll go over the DPE with the Atlas, and then he's going to actually crash his Assault Roller into the Rusty. And he'll only take, I think, just a couple hundred points of damage there because the Assault Roller was boosted by 200 via its own effects, only taking 300 in the exchange. And then we're going to see him get to search here off of the Assault Roller. And then he's going to go ahead and search out the Sting Lancer, which is actually going to be able to basically out DPE here by, you know, targeting a monster in each graveyard, shuffling them to the bottom of the deck, and then speccing itself out. And then when it is, I believe, normal or special summon, can go ahead and search a Beetrooper spell or trap. We're going to see him grab Formation, which is the Beetrooper field spell. I think basically can reborn any Beetrooper in the grave, but then you take damage equal to its attack. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all it does. And I think if a Beetrooper is destroyed by like battle or card effect, you can spec a Beetrooper token with 1,000 stats. Now we're going to see Invincible Atlas here tag the Sting Lancer out for Light Flapper, which is actually another new piece of Beetrooper support. And I'm actually going to pull up the Beetrooper cards here. This card is normal or special. You can target 2 of your Beetrooper monsters with different names that are banished or in your graveyard. Add them to your hand, but for the rest of the turn, you cannot activate their effects or the effects of cards with their names. So it's going to go ahead and recycle back the Assault Roller and the Sting Lancer. Yeah, really, really solid. He's got the Flying Sting set here too. So, yeah, pretty solid end board, I would say. Like, he's got the like the Sting Lancer here for next turn, which is like a very, very good countermeasure to the Phantom Knight strategy. And we're going to see him end phase use the Fogblade to bring back the Torn Scale. And then in draw phase, I think we're going to see him actually use the Dasher here to spec out another Torn Scale. And then he does have to resolve the DPE here, since, you know, the effect still has to go through. And he's actually going to choose to summon out Celestial, was interesting here. Because if he does put that Celestial back in the grave, he will not be able to use its draw 2 effect. Whereas if he would have just simply special summoned out Dasher, you know, he would have been able to like link off with the Dasher, even crash the Dasher, you know, do the Digidash, and then use its the Celestial effect in grave banishing itself to banish it into Dasher to draw 2, which is huge. Like, that's like Celestial follow up is so incredibly strong. Like, there's a reason some people think the card should be banned to make the DPE engine just a little more fair, because having Pot of Greed in the crackback is pretty nuts, especially when you're down and out in like terms of card advantage. Like, just brings you right back into the game. So yeah, we're gonna see him make Break Sword. He's gonna use Rusty effect. We're gonna see it get Flying Stinged, so we'll negate and destroy that. And then he still has to go ahead and actually deal with the Invincible Atlas right now, which is still, you know, 3K and unable to be targeted or destroyed by card effects. How I was thinking how kind of spicy it would be if that Anaconda could actually resolve again here. Now that DPE is back in the extra deck, but of course that would mean he would need to play things like another Dasher and another Celestial. But I just, you know, or if he was on like the Red Ice package, that'd also be funny. Because usually I'm very, very adamant about clearing the Anaconda if you can, but at this point there's no threat. It's just basically a worthless body here, just link fodder, if you will. But we're going to see Break Sword pop the Fogblade, and then pop Light Flapper, and then probably going to see a link play here. I mean, I don't really see what else you do. Rusty's already been exhausted. I don't think most builds are playing 2, and we're going to see him go for a Link 4. And the only, I mean, not Break Sword, I was going to say either Boral Sword or Appaloosa, and it looks like we're going to see Appaloosa here. And 3 Mad Apo too. So like this is just going to die on the crack back to the Invincible Atlas, which is currently sitting at 3,000. And yeah, unfortunate thing here is he cannot use Celestial this turn because of, you know, it was just now sent to the graveyard this turn. And then Celestial says you cannot use this effect unless, use that fact the same turn was sent to the graveyard, which, spoiler alert, our Phantom Knight player does do that. But again, it would have been very easy to ensure that that didn't happen because he just used the Celestial as link fodder for Apo, and he could have easily done the same thing with Dasher. Yeah, standby phase, you know, resolve DPE, summon Dasher, and you can still use Dasher and draw phase 2. So, like, yeah. I don't think it makes too big of a difference here. But we're going to see him use the Sting Lancer, I think, in response to the Celestial. Try and make it so it doesn't resolve, unless Celestial banishes or cost, which I'm actually unsure of, but it will force out an Apo negate, and he will legally get to draw 2 cards here. But again, very, very easy thing to correct. But we're going to see him normal summon a Cloak, which is a very good draw to find here. Link it into Almirage, which is a pretty common extra deck choice, I guess, for these builds of a, DPE Phantom Knight, which I know some people are on, but not everybody. And we're going to see him banish the Cloak to add Boots, and then we're going to see Torrent Scale summon itself out here. So yeah, you can just see how much the Celestial is just getting him back into the game. Like, it's absolutely absurd. If our Beetrooper player would have caught this, and this wasn't like a locals, like this is something you could easily get Shark for, and then you lose out on that draw too. And then you're left, I'm pretty sure he's just left with Apo. Like, he literally can't do anything with, like, anything else without that extra draw too. So now he's, like, literally just back into the game for free here. Leviair going to bring back the Cloak, banishing Boots to go ahead and search. Probably Shade Brigandine here. I don't think he's used Fogblade this turn, so he could use Fogblade right now, I guess, to bring back another body, and then use Shade to summon out another body here. And I don't think he is Dark Locked either, because he did not use Break Sword's Graveyard Effect to revive 2 PKs and mod their levels. So yeah, we're going to see the Fogblade happen here. I mean, you could bring back Rusty would be really, really strong. We're going to see him, summon out the Shade, link the Shade into Link Spider, and then link all of those off into Boral Sword. And I think this is just going to be game since his opponent is at 7,300. Because it'll be 3K, and then 2K, and then 16, and then 12, or like 45. Yeah. So yeah, that is game. Phantom Knight taking it there. Shouldn't have technically, but it is what it is. And as we get ready to start game 2, I'd like to mention a quick shout out to our sponsor over at Imperium Duelist. If you guys are interested in picking up amazing playmats, deck boxes, sleeves, binders, mats, and more, check them out at the link below. And don't forget to use my discount code WinnerKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order. And if you guys are buying anything on TCG Player, please do not forget to use my affiliate link found in the description of all my videos. Anytime you guys shop and check out using that link, a small bit of the revenue from your purchase goes right back in the channel and helps out a ton. Especially for cards you're already going to be buying at no extra cost to you. So getting back to the game here, we're going to see Beetrooper go first, which is no surprise. We're going to see him normal summon Resonance Insect and then activate Scale Bomber. And then we're going to see him go into the Armor Horn effect to getting the additional normal. We're going to see a Lancia in response to that. A pretty good side deck card here against the Beetrooper strategy. Does like to banish a lot. Things like Assault Roller, Doom Dozer, Armor Horn, etc. And Resonance Insect. You just basically stop that card from, being a Foolish Burial. So we're going to see him, resolve Scout Buggy, go into the Insector link, ditch a card, which is going to be Twin Bow, and then equipping a Resonance Insect here. And then we're going to see him shuffle back 3 with the Insector link to go ahead and draw 1. Very nice effect to be able to use here in the meantime, now that he cannot banish. I believe it draws 1. I could be wrong. Yeah, it does draw 1. Okay. I didn't know if it was like just put back 3 or put back 3 and draw 1, but I did remember correctly. It does draw a card. And he's going to be able to step up into the Invincible Atlas, trigger Resonance Insect here. So, like, Lancia doing an okay job at slowing the deck down, but not stopping it outright. Obviously, still be able to make some decent plays here. He's going to be able to search out Contact C off the Resonance Insect, because when it does hit the graveyard, you can add a level 5 or higher insect monster from your deck to your hand. And then we're going to see him use the Sting Lancer, putting back the Lancia in his opponent's graveyard to go ahead and summon itself out and search out a copy of Formation, which I think is probably going to... Actually, I was going to say, if he's searching out Formation, he probably already has Flying Sting, but I feel like maybe for some reason you want to just grab Flying Sting instead, but it looks like he's just going to search out Formation for follow-up and then summon out Light Flapper here off of the Invincible Atlas and then activate Flapper's effect to recycle back the Scale Bomber and the Sting Lancer back to the hand. And then showing his opponent all the cards he currently knows. So he actually does open the Flying Sting. So he opened it again, which I believe it's a 1 of in the deck, so that's why I bring that up. So he's going to have to play through Contact C, Flying Sting, and also the Sting Lancer too, because Sting Lancer is going to prove to be a bit of interruption here. Just because you can go ahead and shuffle back something like Torn Scales to the graveyard, which is like not terrible because you can get another Torn Scale to the grave at like any other point. But he's also going to have to worry about Contact C, which is going to make things a little awkward. Could easily go into something like IP Masquerena here, which I know a decent amount of builds are playing. I don't know if most builds of PK are on anything like Nightmares. I know some play Nightmare Unicorn. So he could go into Unicorn right now and, spin back one of the sets, force out a back row. So that's always an option. But we're going to see him fire off E-Tally here to go ahead and summon out the Psychic Wielder. And, could go for Boral Sword here. He could go for like a format Apo. I don't think either of those options are really that great. I think going for something like IP would be really strong. And then you could go for Rusty, which like at that point wouldn't be able to be destroyed by card effects, which is really good. And IPs also happens to be dark too. So a little bit of intensive thought going on right now. He knows he has to play around the Contact C. He knows he has to play around the... Well, he doesn't know his opponent has the Flying Sting, but you could probably assume that he does. Luckily, he didn't have a Retaliating C here with that, activation of the E-Telly. And he's going to go ahead on summon of Appaloosa, activate the Sting Lancer, targeting the boots. He's going to attempt to negate with the Appaloosa, and he's going to chain Flying Sting to negate and destroy the Appo. So, going super minus there, but again... he did hard open the Flying Sting. And, we're just going to see him scoop. He had Tour Guide and Droll in hand. Must have been his 6th card there, because that would have been a very good card to have that turn. So we're going to move on to Game 3 here, and we're going to see Phantom Knight going first here in the Game 3 situation. No surprise there. We're going to see him open up Torn Scale and E-Telly. We're going to see him activate E-Telly, and then in response, we're going to see that Retaliating C. I believe when your opponent activates a spell card that includes an effect that summons a monster, you can activate the effect where you summon to the field, and then any card sent to the graveyard while it's on the field is banished instead, and that is going to be insane here. I mean, insane is an understatement at this point. E-Telly walking right into it. I don't think our PK player opened up too stellar here, though. I think he opened up, like, Torn Scales, E-Telly, Dasher, and Judgment. So, like, not the craziest opening hand, but I mean, he could have played around the Retaliating C, and again, it all depends on the player. I don't know if he knows that Beetrooper is a deck that typically mains or sides into something like Retaliating. And at that point, like, when you're playing the E-Telly, it's like, if they have it, right? But either way, we're going to see him attempt to try to salvage this situation as best he possibly can. We're going to see him make Leviair, which is pretty nice. You can go ahead and retrieve back one of those banished Phantom Knights. And just kind of like leave it on the field and, pass turn, I guess, with the Judgment in hand. Like, it could be worse. Being reminded that, yes, the materials will still get banished because it's any card sent to the grave period from anywhere. It's not like Shen Shen where any card sent from the field is banished instead. It's just any card sent to the graveyard period. And we're going to see, oh my god, the Duster too. What a blowout. Yeah, that one hurts quite a bit. And the Kaiju Slumber. Wow. I mean, this is just going to be a wrap right here. Kaiju Slumber. And he's going to get the Retaliating effect, which I think lets him add any insect from his deck with 1,500 or less attack. And this is the card people were hyping up before the ban list. People thought, Maxi was going to come back because of this deck because they could search it. Yeah, I mean, how wrong were they? Thankfully, they were wrong. But yeah, now we're going to see him search out Resonance off the Retaliating, and then we're going to see him search Sting Lancer off of the Resonance. And then we're going to see him use Sting Lancer, put back Cloak, which is insane. Like, Sting Lancer's been putting in so much work in this particular match, and we're continuing to see that here. Our poor PK player. I feel so bad having to walk into the Retaliating and then get hit. Like, you're like one of the best going first cards you could have that kind of like maybe gets you out of the situation. Like, you Judgment their normal and put them on needing like good extenders. But no, Harpy's Feather Duster into Slumber. That is so rough. We're going to see him attack Godarla into the Gamma Seal, which is going to take, I think, 300 there, or 500, and then 2,400 from Sting Lancer, and then 2,000 from Twin Bow since it can attack twice. And yeah, there's the Dasher was the 6th card. You hate to see it. Or the next card I think he was going to be drawing. Super, super rough. Very, very unfortunate end there. But we're going to see Beetrooper taking it 2-1, another upset. Yeah, looks like you guys are wrong yet again. Maybe you guys will be wrong in the next round. I have no idea. But if you guys want to see more of my content, click on one of the videos popping up on the bottom of the screen right now. And last but not least, a special shout out goes to our Divine level channel members, and they are Cadillacs84, Pony Star, Keith Sidgers, Squeaky Daniel, and Black Ninja Money. Thank you guys so much for your extremely generous support of this channel.